Hello, everyone, and welcome back to week 28. I feel like my hair just goes different every time I do a recording. Anyways, welcome back. This week is all about embracing change. And let me tell you, do I have a message for you? Change is one of life's only constants. I was going to say constraints. Change is one of life's only constants, yet it can often feel uncomfortable or even frightening. We naturally want to hold on to what is familiar, even when it no longer serves us. But every new chapter begins with the courage to let go of the old. Instead of resisting change, try welcoming it with curiosity. Ask yourself what opportunities it may be bringing into your life. You see, growth often happens when we step outside of our comfort zone. And last week, that's what we learned about. And trust ourselves enough to adapt. Remember, you have survived every change that has brought you to this moment today. So, your reflection questions, and I've got another little talk to do as well for this week, is what change am I currently experiencing? What am I holding on to that may be time to release? And how can I approach change with more openness and self-compassion? This over this next 4 weeks, you're also going to get weekly affirmations because it's really important to do these. I don't look at affirmations as I used to. I look at them now as declarations. I'm declaring that this is what's going to be taking place. I feel like declaring something is more initiation. So this week, it's I welcome change as an opportunity to grow and discover new possibilities. Which, I mean, I kind of like that. I'm not going to lie. I think it's something that we need to remind ourselves about. Now, I did when you write something and you put it somewhere, but then you forget where you put it? That's where I'm at right now. So please hold. I'll give you time for reflection. When you put something somewhere and then you're like, where did I put it? That's where I'm at, guys. That is where I'm at. So here's the thing. Choosing choosing change this week, there comes a moment in our lives when staying the same becomes more painful than taking the risk to change. Okay. Change isn't always dramatic. It doesn't always look like quitting your job moving to the city, or completely reinventing yourself. And sometimes change is much quieter. It's choosing to stop answering the call that always drains you. It's about setting the boundary you should have set years ago. It's asking for help. It's forgiving yourself for the mistakes you've carried for too long. It's also deciding that your past no longer gets to write your future. The truth is, change can be uncomfortable because it asks you to let go of your comfort zone. Even when what is familiar is hurting you. You see, growth often begins where comfort ends. And this week, you're being asked to ask yourself some more questions. Like, what am I holding on to that no longer serves me? What fear is keeping me from becoming who I'm meant to be? What is one small change I can make today that my future self will thank me for? Remembering you don't have to change your entire life in one day, one decision, one conversation, one boundary, one act of courage can change the direction of your life. The person who you are becoming is waiting on the other side of that choice that you're afraid to make. So this week, choose progress over perfection. This week, choose courage over comfort. And this week, choose healing over hiding. But most importantly, choose you. This week, I want you to encourage someone in your life. What's one change you are choosing to make this week, no matter how small? And maybe share it with someone. Maybe share it in the comments. Maybe share it on the page of Rise Up with Tamara. And just remember that your courage may inspire someone else to take their first step. As I progress on my journey and I begin to make some major changes in my life in regards to my business, in regards to how I operate and how I serve, this week I was reminded that sometimes our story we're afraid to share with people, can inspire others. That's the change that's happening this week for me. So on Wednesday, I celebrate 20 years in recovery. And as most of you know, weeks ago, I launched a new page called Soul Bridge Recovery and Coaching. Well, this past week, I had a client. This client, without my knowledge until the very end, where Spirit just told me, I made the discovery that the client was an alcohol and drug counselor, practitioner. And they have offered me an opportunity to share my story with between 150 and 200 alcohol and drug practitioners, people that help people in addiction, people that help and serve people in recovery, to humanize what recovery looks like. This is the biggest opportunity of my life. And I'd be lying to say I wasn't scared. I didn't have my own fears and anxiety over this. But at the same time, this is something I've been praying for. An opportunity to be heard, to be listened to, and to be able to share what did work and what didn't work. But also to share about how I got to this point where I can celebrate 20 years of being clean. You know, the one thing I can say this week is I am so grateful to be an addict in recovery. I'm not cured. I'll always be an addict. But today I choose to be an addict in recovery because I chose to change my life and rewrite my story and stop being a statistic. So I hope this week, as you go about amongst your life, that this week you'll take that opportunity to embrace the change that is happening. And to remember also to be gentle with yourself and know that change doesn't happen overnight. But you can choose to embrace that change and walk boldly into the beginning of this path and this journey that is your life. As we enter a new series, I want to say thank you. Thank you to those that do message and email and tell me how each week resonates. Thank you to those that leave comments on these videos. Thank you to those that show up every single day. But most importantly, thank you for just being you, taking it one day at a time. So Friday this week, you will receive week 29, and I'm going to give you a heads up. It's all about the strength of self-compassion. That's what week 29 is all about. So just kind of sit with that information. What does self-compassion look like for you? We're going to talk about it on Friday. See you then. Have a wonderful week, guys. Take care.